to my channel. Today I'm talking about some knitting projects I've been working on. I need your help with one of them, please, your knitting expertise. And then I'm also going to share a book that I've been reading at the end. I'm about a third of the way through and I'm really enjoying that, so I thought I'd share that with you in case you're interested in choosing another book. Help first, please. In between my Christmas knits and my in the pipeline knits, I was working on the Poppy Jumper by Susan Crawford. This jumper here. And it's a vintage inspired jumper, and it's got a crew neck, short sleeves, 1x1 twisted rib on the ribbing, and the main body and the back are all just plain knitting. It's knitted in the flat in pieces and you sew it together. I have finished the front and the back and I'm really happy with it. I've done this size 3, which is a 38-inch chest, and you have to use a 2.75mm needle for the ribbing and a 3mm for the body. And everything is fine. So I've done the front and back and I put it to one side, and then I didn't have any projects I thought on the go at the time. I thought, right, I'm going to get this out and just do the sleeves because that's not going to take long. Did plan to make them slightly longer. And I think where I went wrong is because it's been away for quite a while and I got it out. I got the right needle size and everything like that. But it said that I use the cable cast on, and I think that's in my head. I saw cable and I thought it needed to be on a cable needle, which a needle with a cable, which then made me knit it in the round. So I'll get it to show you. Now I haven't done a huge amount. I've done the 1x1 twisted rib and I am now on the main part of the sleeve, but I've knitted it in the round and the jumper is supposed to be knitted in the flat. Although I haven't done very much, it did take a long time on 2.75mm needles to knit this. But do you think I should undo it and redo it by knitting in the flat? Or would it be okay to knit the sleeves in the round, sew up the jumper and fit the sleeves in? It could be a bit like sewing, because you can sometimes you sew a top with sleeves. You might do it in the flat and have the sleeves flat and then sew them together. Or sometimes you've already sewn the sleeves up and you fit them in. Any knitters who are far more advanced than me, please let me know what I should do. So I've combined 2 different styles of knitting and I don't know if it'll work. Please let me know what you think, and then I can either undo it and do it again. I'm thinking probably that's the best, rather than knit the whole sleeve, which will probably take quite a while, and then find that it doesn't work. The first of my in the pipeline for January projects I've finished is the rainbow cowl. If you remember in my last video, I was going to ask Jack, my youngest grandson, would he rather this cowl, the rainbow cowl, or the one that had a snake wrapped around it? And between speaking to you and speaking to him, I decided I was going to make him the 2 anyway. But I thought I'd show him to see what he thought. So I showed him this picture from off of the website. And he said, I want that and that, please, Gaga. And I tried to explain that is actually the same pattern. It's just she's put the cowl on her head. But he kept saying, I want that one and that one. But anyway, I've made it for him. So this is the rainbow cowl, and it is by Smartypants Patterns. So it's a free pattern on Ravelry, but you follow the link and it takes you to her website, but it's still free, and it's very, very simple. And here it is. Basically, it's a tube, and you cast on a certain number of stitches, and I used the long tail cast on, and then you knit 4 rows and purl 4 rows all the way for as long as you want, and you change colours whenever you want, if you want to have different colours. Now these are all out of stash, these colours, they're all my acrylic yarns. I don't know, some are style craft, some could be, well, James C. Brett, I don't know, all sorts of things. And I just use the colours I had to be a rainbow. So this one's for the violet, indigo, blue, green, yellow, orange and red. And I know the orange is more rust than red. And I was so tempted to buy a true bright orange, but I resisted. I took the sewing box to the charity shop in Cowbridge, and in some of the charity shops there, they sell acrylic yarn brand new on a stand. And I knew just for a couple of pounds I could have the bright orange, but I thought, no, I'm still in January. I can't fail in my no-buy year. And I haven't even got out of January. So I think you'll be happy with that. And also, I'll have to go and get the project bag, because when I was showing you these in the pipeline, I forgot to show the little mittens that I was going to make for him as well to go with it. So I'll go and get the patterns on the table. I won't be a moment, and I'll show you that. It's a bit of a scruffy copy, but it's the basic cuff up mittens. Another free pattern. I already had this on my Ravelry page, and both this cowl and the mittens are meant to be knit in worsted weight yarn, which is a bit more difficult to get hold of in Britain, and plus I'm using what I've got in stash. So mine was done in DK, and I use 4.5mm needles, and I will do the same for the mittens, and I will try and do those a rainbow colour too. And then he can have those, and I'm going to do, why is it every time I record someone rings the bell? That was the postman. So anyway, I've sorted that out. Yes, so I'm going to make the mittens, and I'm going to do an I-cord so that I can put it through his coat and he won't lose his mittens. I saw Ellie from Craft House Magic did that for her little boy Jensen, and I have made Jack gloves in the past, and I have done a cord. I don't think I did an I-cord, but I did do a cord, and he didn't lose them. So it is worth putting something between the gloves so that they don't lose them. Back in my day, I think we just used to have elastic, but an I-cord would be very nice. My next in the pipeline project is in this beautiful bag that I had from Anne from No Excuses podcast when we went to Wonderful last year. Was it last year or the year before? She gave the bags. I'm not sure. I think it might have been the year before. It is the Antler Talk by Tin Can Knits. I think that's how you pronounce it. And it's another free pattern on Ravelry, and it was already in my library. And this is a hat for Ella, Josh's girlfriend. And I am making it in this beautiful yarn, which is from Fabric Fancies, and it's their Superwash Merino Aran in birthday cake. And I bought this many years ago on Etsy, and the plan was to knit a navy blue jumper with some colour work and knit the colour work section with this yarn, but when it arrived it was much thicker than the Aran for the main body of the jumper, so I did a different jumper. And I was going to donate this. It was in the bag for the knitting group, but Ella saw it and said she would like it as a hat, so I rescued it, and I'm so glad I did because it's beautiful. It's really soft. And you know when people say, oh, they knitted with a certain yarn and it was buttery soft, and I've never knit with anything like that. This is buttery soft. It's beautiful. Although it's thick, it's very light, and just knitting with it just glides through your hands, keeps your hands nice and warm, and I enjoy the little pops of colour as they come through. And here's my progress so far. You can knit this in 4 sizes: baby, child, small adult and large adult. And I used 4.5mm needles for the ribbing and 5 for the main body. And you need a cable hook just to do this little bit of cabling, which I think is really effective with this yarn. I'm a little bit concerned. I've done 3 of the antlers so far, and you've got to do 8 before you start the decreasing, and I've got that much yarn left. But I'm thinking if I do run out, I'll make it as one of those sort of headbands rather than a hat. I'm hoping there's enough there. I should weigh it really, and then I could sort of work out how much I've got left, or whether I've got enough, but hopefully I will have. And lastly, I thought I would share the book that I've been reading. Now, I had this for Christmas, and it's a Kate Morton book, and I've had a few of her books. I really enjoyed them. And I think she always does the same sort of theme. So there's usually somebody from the past and somebody from the future, and the 2 stories entwine. And this is very similar. I'll read the blurb for you, and then you can decide whether you want to read it. It was a bit of a slow start. I couldn't get into it to start off with, so I'd read a few pages and put it down for a few days, and then read a bit more, and then I couldn't quite remember what I'd read. But once I got into it, I'm really enjoying it now, and you can see where I am. Right, so the blurb. Adelaide Hills, Christmas Eve, 1959. At the end of a scorching hot day, beside a creek in the grounds of a grand country house, a local man makes a terrible discovery. Police are called, and the small town of Tambilla becomes embroiled in one of the most baffling murder investigations in the history of South Australia. Many years later, and thousands of miles away, Jess is a journalist in search of a story. Having lived and worked in London for nearly 2 decades, she now finds herself unemployed and struggling to make ends meet. A phone call summons her back to Sydney, where her beloved grandmother Nora, who raised Jess when her mother could not, has suffered a fall and is seriously ill in hospital. At Nora's house, Jess discovers a true crime book chronicling a long-buried police case, the Turner family tragedy of 1959. It is only when Jess skims through the pages that she finds a shocking connection between her own family and this notorious event, a murder mystery that has never been satisfactorily resolved. An epic story that spans generations. Homecoming asks what we would do for those we love, how we protect the lies we tell, and what it means to come home. Above all, it is an intricate and spellbinding novel from one of the finest writers working today. And it's The Homecoming by Kate Morton. I'm really enjoying it now, and I read it when I go to bed, and I keep falling asleep, but I want to know what's happening. So I highly recommend this book. This is a hard book. This is the hardback copy, which is lovely. It's really hard to read because it's huge. So if it comes, I expect later on it will come out in paperback, or if it's on the Kindle version, then that will be much more pleasant to read in bed. As it's only been a week since my last video, I haven't got that much to share, but that's what I've been doing this week. Please let me know in the comments below what you've been working on. Hopefully I will do a video again next week. I am going to try to do weekly videos for a little while to see how I get on with that, but I might go back to monthly. I do find though, at the end of the month, I've done so much, I can't really remember all the things I need to tell you. It was bad enough for just a few projects. So we'll just have to wait and see. Anyway, take care everyone, and I shall see you all soon. Bye!